So things have just been weird this year. And if you've been keeping your eye on the market in the East Valley or Gilbert more specifically, you probably have noticed since January, the market has slowed down more and more. And this is very abnormal. Typically in the springtime, this is when we see the market get more competitive. And then the other thing is Gilbert over the past handful of years has been one of the most competitive seller markets in the entire Phoenix metro area. But this past spring, we've been kind of lagging behind. We've been in a neutral market, meaning there's an even playing field between buyers and sellers. And then in the beginning of this month, we technically entered into a buyer's market. And how we figured this out is looking at the balance of supply and demand, which gives us our market index. Now, this buyer's market, it's like barely a buyer's market. Technically, the score, if it's anything under 90, and right now we're at 89.1. But we did technically transfer into a buyer's market officially. My name is Courtney Strelzik. I'm a real estate agent and I live and work in Gilbert. And my goal is to give you really practical input on what's going on in the market and what it may mean for you if you're trying to either buy or sell. So we're going to talk about, first off, where the deals are, and also more importantly, where is the market probably going? Now, this is important to note. In the springtime, we saw things drop drastically. It was a pretty downward trend towards a buyer's market. However, really the past month, we've seen things kind of level out. It did decrease a little bit, right? The past couple weeks, but it wasn't near as fast as a clip as what we saw between really January and April, May. So it does appear that we are leveling out to some degree. So what's going on with home prices? Are they going down? Well, really, when we look at since January, we saw the median sales price fluctuate quite a bit. Anywhere from the lowest was 555,000 all the way up to 600,000. And this is pretty common to see the ups and downs, the fluctuation when you take a smaller sample size like Gilbert. When you take a step back and look at Phoenix Metro, you aren't going to see as much fluctuation just because it's such a larger sample size. And when we do take a step back and look at Phoenix Metro, we did see that home sales did drop, or the median sales price, dropped about 2%. So yes, there has been some price reductions. It is a little bit less expensive or more affordable to purchase a home, but really by small margins. So where are home buyers winning today? Now, the thing is, I think there's this expectation right now because the market's slower, you're going to go in and you're going to get like 25% off a home. You're going to get a crazy deal. That's not really where we're seeing people win. There's been a couple circumstances where I've seen huge price reductions, but that was because the home was initially really overpriced. This is where home buyers are actually winning. They're winning because they're getting way better terms when they put in that initial offer. Maybe they're getting a longer closing, or maybe they're getting seller concessions to pay for closing costs. The other big thing I'm seeing is during the inspection period, if there's been repairs, like a roof, or I saw a main sewer line that actually needed to be repaired, sellers are more inclined to repair these things. And, 2-3 years ago, if you requested a new roof replacement, more often than not, the sellers would scoff at that and they'd be like, no, get out of here. We're not doing that. But today, sellers are more willing to do that just to make sure that their home closes. And think about it. If you had a roof replacement, maybe it's $15,000, $20,000 and you don't have to pay that, the seller pays it. That means you have another $15,000, $20,000 in your pocket. That is how people are winning today. Other way of seeing home buyers win is, okay, there's a lot of people that want to be in certain specific neighborhoods, Morrison Ranch or Agritopia, or maybe they wanted a larger lot. Historically, these have been areas or homes that have been really hard to get into. But now because inventory is much higher, home buyers are actually standing a chance to purchase a home that fits their needs in these locations. But if things are continuing to slow down, should you wait to purchase a home? Now, I don't have a crystal ball, so I always have to disclaim that. But it does look like we may be hitting the bottom. Now, we may be hanging out in the bottom for a while, or the market could start shifting more upward into a more competitive market. Now, a lot of housing analysts local to Phoenix Metro are predicting that we may be entering into a slightly more competitive market. They're not predicting drastic changes, but they are anticipating that it might just tick up a little bit. And these are the reasons why. Okay, the first reason has to do with affordability. Now, when we think of the three pillars of affordability, we have mortgage rates, home values, and then income or wage. So for mortgage rates and home values, technically they have decreased a little bit, not as much as we probably would like, but a teensy bit. And then for wage growth, we actually did see an increase. And on top of that, in Phoenix, our inflation rate has decreased significantly. It's much lower than it historically has been or in the past couple of years. So considering these three things, we technically are in a more affordable market. Now, the second thing to consider and why housing analysts are anticipating that the market may start to pick up again is because of supply and demand. So think about this. In the springtime, the reason why we saw the market go down so much is because the number of homes on the market skyrocketed, like by a lot. We had a lot more homes come to the market. However, more in the past month, we've actually seen a decline. And then we've also seen an uptick in mortgage applications. So we have decreased supply, increased demand equates to a more competitive market. Now, I'm not going to be that person's like, oh, today's the perfect time to buy a home, because that's annoying. And I don't believe that. I truly believe the perfect time to buy a home is really when your personal finances are in order and, when there's some stability in your living situation, you can hold on to a home for at least 3 to 5 years easily. But if you do have all your ducks in a row and you're waiting for that perfect time to buy a home, I would encourage you to start window shopping just to see if there's a home out there that would work for you. Because this window of opportunity that we have to get in more of these coveted neighborhoods, that window could be shrinking. Now, like I said, I don't have a crystal ball, but go ahead and hit that subscribe button and I'll make sure to keep you up to date as we see the market change. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day.